Talking about bonus X.
Bonus X. Bonus X.
Talking about bonus X.
Bonus.
You like bonus X? Listen to that bonus X. Just
Hey, we got a
bunch of bonus
X.
Brought to you by
Bonus X.
You could want bonus X.
Starting. It's time for bonus.
Bonus X is happening in 3, 2, 1.
Hi, so I feel like I should apologize for the delay between these episodes, but to be perfectly honest, I blame Diane. She took off the whole frickin' month of December to play Mary in the yearly Nickelback Nativity. Her cousin Chad plays Baby Jesus, of course. So yeah, it's been tough to get stuff done lately. Side note, if you have audio editing skills and would like to join the Bash team, hit us up. I have a feeling Diane's job might be opening up soon. Anyway, here we have a snazzy little episode covering a couple of the Chicago Expo seminars.
Seminarly.
So I realized that I'm pretty sure my teeth are slowly shifting forward
Oh, cool.
as I age. And I think that's contributing to the sibilance that I never realized that I had until we started this show.
Well, what is that the only thing that makes you think your teeth are moving? Or do you have other supporting evidence?
Just visual.
Okay.
Just visual. But I looked in the mirror really well and I saw my teeth, like the angle looked...
Yeah.
I remember them not being angled as much before.
Did you have braces?
I've never had braces, no.
Maybe you need
Just-
to see an
I
orthodontist.
think it's too late, man.
Nah, you can do it anytime.
All natural.
You can get Invisalign.
So I guess the first thing we did was one of the seminars.
So the showroom actually opened at noon on Thursday, but at 11
Right.
was the arcade seminar, like how to start an arcade. Kinda.
Right. How to like run or operate an arcade or whatever.
Yeah.
It was Kayla and Rachel from Electric Bat
Yeah, Alan and Chris
Chris.
from Wedgehead.
and Zespy, Jim.
Yeah, Jim from Logan,
Yeah.
Logan Arcade.
That was actually really, really cool and really insightful. It was packed.
Yeah, it was
standing room.
It was completely full. Yeah, we barely got a seat. Yeah, and we met Jamie.
Oh yeah, Jamie
we-
Burchell.
Wormholer.
Yeah, he was waiting to go in.
I'm sure if I owned an arcade, I would be all over that too, because it's
Yeah.
like you get these different perspectives of like what's it like to run a free play arcade and what's it like to run a coin drop arcade and a lot of interesting stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure he was there just for the hangs because he's,
Yeah.
he's Jamie, dude. I don't know if you notice, when we first met him, within like 5 or whatever, 10 minutes, right, of us
Yeah.
hanging out, waiting for the seminar to start, he was recognized
Yeah,
like
yeah.
4 times. Like, oh, hey, Jamie.
Yeah, everybody knows about him.
Hey, I love your stuff, man. Oh, thanks, Yeah, I felt like I was hanging out with like a celebrity.
Yeah, that's funny.
It was really funny.
Yeah, and he really had let it get to his head too. He was kind of just intolerable, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, he asked me if I wanted an autograph or something. Remember that?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll just, be better at not letting it get to our heads, I think.
Oh man. Well, I'm still appreciative that he saved me that one time with, he was a great help getting me back from the future. Anyways, all love, Jamie.
Okay, hang on a sec. Gotta jump in here for a bit of clarification. You see, Don and I can have a dry, facetious sense of humor, which means sometimes we say the opposite of what we mean for comedic effect. So if you're new to the podcast or if you're Canadian, you should be aware that Jamie, and in fact all of the people we met at Expo, except for Ian, were incredibly nice and welcoming to us. Not a single douche or douchette among them. Seriously. The preceding statement applies to the following people: Kayla and Rachel of Electric Bat, Joe Chiravino of Pinball Degenerates, Ian Jacoby of Nudge Magazine, Erica of Erica's Pinball Journey, Jamie Burchell of Wormhole and his friend whose name I forgot, Colin Alzheimer of Kineticist, Jack Danger of Jack Danger, Don of Don's Pinball Podcast, Alan and Chris of Wedgehead, Glenn Wechter and crew of Saw Pinball, Clark Fraley of Richmond Pinball Collective, Brooke from Pinball and her dad, Brent and Pepper of Homegrown, Gary Flower of Gary Flower, Bug and Chris Franchi of Spooky, Ralph of Retro Ralph, Gorgar of The Underworld, Robbie, the girl with the crazy mohawk, Rick James, Diamond Lady, all the homebrew people, the bartender of Logan Arcade that didn't actually like pinball, the ice cream man, and Miłosz, the Polish student that we rode the train with. If you're not on this list, sorry we forgot you, or we didn't meet you at Expo. Okay, now back to the show.
Okay, so going back to the seminar, they covered a couple of different topics, right? I think the first one that comes to mind is like tokens versus like free play or
Like the card
coin drop,
systems.
coin drop versus card systems or free play model, and they were different perspectives, which were pretty cool.
Yeah. in my, arcade fantasies, I'm always thinking, which of those things would I do? And I've heard certainly Kale and Rachel talk about it on their podcast, which is the Electric Bat. And they're very hardcore token people.
Right.
And there's a lot of challenges associated with that too. And there's the cost of the tokens themselves, and they wear out and you have to replace them and all this stuff.
The coin mechs.
Yeah, the coin mechs aren't super reliable. You got to literally collect all the coins.
Which a lot of this stuff I learned from them during the seminar.
Yeah. But then there's just the satisfaction of it. There's the old school vibe of it.
Yeah.
You have like a token with the name of your arcade on it. Like, it's cool.
Oh, which by the way, I forgot I brought you one.
Oh, cool.
So
From Electric Bat?
I got to give it to you. I forgot about it.
It seems like they all kind of recognize maybe the card system is like somehow it's not great to use. And
it's convenient, right?
Yeah.
That's like the thing. It's like it seems to be that it does serve a purpose. I mean, I guess it depends on the vibe, on your goal, right? And I think Jim was saying that he can see a path in the future for going to a card system.
Yeah, because they're on quarters at Logan Arcade.
Right. Yeah. And I totally it's funny because there was like some slight maybe tension at this topic.
Well, they definitely had differing opinions on it, which is interesting because they're all successful, great arcade. And from what Kale said, they've compared notes with Wedgehead, who does free play,
right? And
they're kind of comparable,
it's about the same,
in terms of revenue per game that they're calculating. So
right, free play versus coin drop.
Yeah.
And then, I wonder, right, like a card system.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I wonder how that would stack. I mean, it might be about the same. Maybe by eliminating some of those barriers, maybe you make a little bit more money, right? But you're missing out on some of the physical, tangible, nostalgic kind of vibe.
So I prefer tokens. That's what I had in arcades growing up as a kid. Like, that's the nostalgia play for sure.
Yeah.
But I was just going to say, Rachel made a good point that with the card systems, there's a disconnect between how many credits you have on the card and the cost of the game. And it can be confusing and
almost
more predatory
to your customer. Yeah,
because they're putting just a amount on there, and then it's X number of points, and then this game is this many points, and then at the end of the day, sometimes they have a card that's still got a bunch of money on it, and
you can't use it.
And do they ever come back and use it? Probably a good portion of them don't.
Which is the value of quarters, where you can there's
still value.
Groceries or get a freaking gumball from the machine, whatever.
Yeah, and it sounded like Rachel didn't like the idea of people paying for something that they weren't going to use, which is very commendable.
Yeah,
perspective to have on it.
It was interesting, man. I really enjoyed that conversation and kind of discussion and seminar and getting to hear their different perspectives, and mad props to all those guys, and also like, dude, Alan from Wedgehead, man. It was the first time, we'd met him in person, and we kind of followed each other a little bit on Instagram and stuff, and he kind of had like a commanding presence, man, which I was like, oh wow, this dude he like knows his stuff. And something else I learned from that too was, how competitive the Portland market is. I had no idea that Portland was like basically like a tiny like area with like the most games.
Yeah, it's like most pinball per capita or something.
Yeah,
which was inspiring for me, because that metropolitan area, I don't think is dramatically bigger than our metropolitan area.
Yeah.
Which is, and we've got like basically no pinball, relatively speaking. We've got like 1/1000th of the amount of pinball that they have there or something. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So it just tells you that if you build up the scene and you build up the community, it becomes sustainable.
And I think that's basically what Kale and Rachel said. Was, their success, the key was essentially building up the community first and focusing on the individuals and their people, right? And which is awesome, because that's what we all want. We want a community. We want a place to hang out. We want a place where we belong. And pinball, right, while it's so fun and cool and exciting, and it can be hip and it's becoming kind of trendy or hip or whatever, at the end of the day, it's a game. And a game is for fun. And when you play games with people, it's more fun, typically.
Yeah.
So, it was awesome and inspiring, man. That was really cool.
Yeah, that was definitely inspiring.
And he's into like the older games, right? He's into like...
Yeah, he's into like... He's got EMs.
Like the Gottlieb EMs or whatever.
Yeah, especially Gottlieb's.
It cracked me up, dude. That was hilarious.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I hope we can check that place out sometime.
We have to.
The other thing that struck me with this panel of folks who have successful arcades is the emphasis on the games playing well.
100%.
If you want to start an arcade, don't bother unless you have the maintenance stuff figured out in advance.
Willing to learn technical ability and understand and put the time and work in. If you don't have someone, you have to do it.
Yeah. And it's not just your buddy who says like, yeah, I can fix stuff. No.
Find the money to pay someone if you don't want to do it or if you can't do it.
Yeah.
And I agree 100%, man.
But every single person on that panel fixes games.
Yeah, exactly. All of them.
Yeah.
You could tell they all know exactly, to some degree how to service a game, right? And it was cool, man. It was inspiring.
It's such a big thing. These games are set up right. They play well.
Yeah.
The people will come.
Yeah, 100%, man. 100%. You're also doing a disservice to pinball as a whole by having these games out and not showcasing them the way that they should be.
Yeah. I'm always on the fence about like these places that have pinball where they're not maintained, they're potentially overpriced, and they're super steep and impossible to play and all this stuff. Is this a net negative for pinball?
Yeah, it is.
Is it?
It is.
Is it better that there would just be no pinball machine there at all?
We should have a SAP adjacent program.
Yeah.
Where we just go and rescue these machines.
Euthanized.
Just for the betterment of pinball.
And now for an important message.
Mr. T here. Good leaders know what they can do, and they know what others can do better. They share the work and share the credit. The point is to get the job done, and done right, not to hog the glory by doing it all yourself. So remember, next time you get the big head and think you can do everything by yourself, remember nobody can, not even Mr. T.
And now, back to the show.
I want to hear your thoughts on the next seminar, which is freaking awesome. And I wasn't going to go, and I'm glad you convinced me to go because by the end of it, I was blown away, man.
Yeah. So at noon, the same time that the Expo show floor opened,
I was like itching to go down there, man. We hadn't been in there yet.
Yeah. Right at noon is like the next seminar was Doug Watson, or one of the next seminars, because there's a bunch of them going all the time. But the next one was Doug Watson, the artist. And it was like Masterclass with Doug Watson. So I was like, Don, we should really go to this.
And I'm just like, man, yeah. All right, right. Yeah. And the whole time we're like walking, I'm like, man, I really want to go in there. I really want to play Avatar. I really want to play X-Men.
I felt like I had to hype it up a little bit. I don't remember what I said, but I twisted your arm enough.
I was teeter-tottering, and I was like trying to be a good, basher / pinball partner, and I said, you know what, let's do it.
Well, and as it turned out, there was a super long line to get in anyway, so I don't think we wasted that much time.
Right. Allegedly, because I didn't see it.
Yeah, allegedly, that's what Jamie said. But so Doug Watson, the pinball artist, I didn't know what to expect, but there was hardly anybody in there, which was unfortunate because it was super interesting. But I think everybody wanted to go to the it was just bad timing.
Right.
But yeah, so Doug Watson was the dude he did the art on some of our favorite games ever. So it was kind of like, well, we gotta see what this dude's like.
At first, dude, I was like hugely turned off. I was like, man, this guy's kind of like pretentious, and I don't know. He seems kind of off or something.
Yeah.
But by the end of it, I kind of love him, man.
Yeah.
He is a real one. He really believes, and he really loves what he's doing, and he really feels, and you can tell he put a lot of effort and thought into all of his work and design. I think one of the slides I remember, not sorry to like leave track here, but in all caps, draw something.
Draw something.
And it was funny, like the way he said it, you could tell he was like frustrated with like current art,
he was frustrated with the Photoshop art style and stuff.
Draw something.
Just draw something.
It was awesome.
Yeah, he was a character. I mean, I guess he's a professor now or something, so he has a sort of professorial approach to this, and he had a lot of information and slides and stuff worked out.
Yeah.
And went through some of his favorite ones that he had done. His first one was Terminator, not his first game, but his first masterpiece was Terminator 2 Playfield. which he had done a bunch of stuff before that, but this was the one that he was the most proud of, like earlier.
It was early in when he finally figured out what he was trying to do with his art in pinball.
Yeah.
Like that was like pretty much, I believe, the first one.
I think it was the first one where he wasn't held back.
Right.
Because prior to Terminator 2, he had always wanted to locate all of the inserts on the playfield and kind of help with the design and functionality of the inserts.
Right.
And Terminator 2 was the first time that he was allowed to do that, as far as I can understand.
And yeah. Like I think he mentioned, something about turning like the shape, sideways, like horizontal, so you could actually write text, and it was like a thing that he'd never been able to do before, and all these like it was awesome.
And using the inserts to help direct the flow of the shots, and having them kind of pointing,
like
guiding you. Like in Terminator, you have like the inserts are very much lined up with the shots. And
it makes sense. Like without knowing what to do, you kind of instinctively see it, and you can kind of see where you have to go.
Yeah, and that like this row of things that's at the same exact angle as this ramp, all these inserts, these lights all pertain to that ramp. So he was taking credit for that whole concept. And basically saying like he's the guy who kind of came up with that idea, which I had never heard before. It's interesting. And
did he?
He said when he was doing T2, Steve Ritchie started to do it.
Yeah.
And just kind of lined them up vertically in a way that didn't really show you where the lights were relative to the shot.
Right.
Steve let him basically show him a different way to do it, and then, the rest is history.
Right. Man.
So yeah, that was kind of cool. A cool little nugget. Maybe he's not the only one who claims credit for that, but
it's probably up for the debate.
He was pretty convincing, though.
The character that he is, man, and just like in general, right? He also did what are some of the big ones? Oh, Attack from Mars.
Well, yeah, that was his ultimate masterpiece.
His ultimate masterpiece, right?
Yeah, and it's a great playfield.
Either way, man, you got to give him props, right?
Yeah,
like legend.
So yeah, he did not only T2, he did Swords of Fury, Black Knight 2000.
Oh my God.
F-14 Tomcat, The Getaway, High Speed 2, Indiana Jones, the Williams one, Demolition Man, The Shadow, Ian's favorite artwork in the world, and maybe mine too. It's really cool. I love the art on that. It's really cool. Jackpot.
So you can kind of like, if you just, if you're familiar with these games, right? And if you're not, you should look them up. There is certainly like kind of like a string, like a theme, like a vibe, like a feel that flows through all of these games, and it 100% has that like kind of aligned shots with the text, with the graphics, with the colors corresponding with the shots,
which is very much like what games are doing now.
Right. I really enjoyed listening to him, man, and kind of learning. And basically, it was like the art masterclass, and he was basically telling us, right?
Yeah.
Like his process and and giving us tips and like how many colors to use, and
it was somewhat technical.
It was cool, man. It was like if I wanted to be a pinball artist, what do I have to do to make it happen? And he was pretty much showing you like his exact process and notes and
and somebody was filming it, so I don't know if it'll end up online at some point, but if it does,
it's on YouTube for sure. There's like a whole Expo 2024 seminar channel, like a playlist.
Yeah, here it is. It is on there. Pinball News, Masterclass, Pinball, Chicago Expo 24. So I wonder if this is edited, because he went way over on time. This is an hour long.
So I watched some of it, and it's definitely not edited. Not Doug Watson's, but I watched some of the other ones, and they definitely were not edited.
Because I think he went almost like 20 minutes over.
Yeah, that was hilarious. He was like, "What do you want me to do? Stop?"
He had way too much information and notes for like the hour that he had.
Yeah, I love that. That was awesome. That was an experience, man. Doug Watson, thank you.
Yeah, definitely watch that. It's worth a watch if you're interested in like game history, because he also throws out some just kind of fun anecdotes and stuff that you would never know that doesn't exist on the internet or anything like that.
Like being like an insider in the industry.
Yeah, like working with all the other guys and all the designers and stuff like that is very interesting. And he's kind of hilarious in his perfectionism and stuff, and self-hate for his own work.
Wait, what did he call his bad work?
Abysmal.
Abysmal, yeah.
He's like, and I don't need to show you anyone else's bad artwork because I can show you my own. This particular example is abysmal.
And he trashed it. He goes, this doesn't make any sense here.
Yeah.
All this color for no reason. These shapes here, I just thought they were cool.
I was just trying to show off, prove to people that I could paint pretty things.
I just like hot women and... Oh, man.
Yeah,
Doug Watson,
funny.
that was awesome.
But he was explaining like the evolution of when he what pinball playfields were like when he started,
right.
And how he was trying to turn the playfield artwork and inserts and everything into a way to help understand the game better.
Right. Oh, and also make it more edgy. Right?
Yeah.
And appeal to younger people because the games were a lot more PG. I distinctly remember him saying that once he left Gottlieb, he had more creative freedom and he chose to go a little bit more edgy and a little bit more, kind of appeal to like a younger, more alternative demographic.
Yeah.
And that's where he brought in like the women and like dark kind of like...
Yeah, heavy metal comic.
Yeah, heavy metal. That's
what
right.
he was referencing.
That's right, heavy metal.
The style from the heavy metal comic and movie and stuff.
So yeah, that was great. Please watch it. Watch it.
Super cool.
Doug Watson.
Yeah, maybe we can get him on the podcast sometime.
I would love to, man. That would be great.
Hark, faithful listeners. I'm not sure we'll get another episode finished before Christmas, so go ahead and have yourself some figgy pudding and put on your gayest apparel, and may sweet little baby Chad Kroger answer your pinball prayers for a new X-Men machine. Happy holidays to you and your kin.